Welcome back to the Retail Media Breakfast Club. I'm your host, Kiri Masters, and I recently joined Nick Morgan and Paul Blackburn on the Commerce Media Matters podcast for a fascinating deep dive into one of the most pressing questions facing our industry. Could AI agent shopping pose an existential threat to retail media as we know it? And what made this conversation particularly compelling is thinking through the sort of game theory scenarios of what will happen to retailers when consumers use AI agents for more parts of their purchase journey, including potentially even the transaction itself. That surface where sponsored products live right now, the retailer.com or the app, may not be used so much anymore, at least by human eyeballs. And suddenly that valuable first-party data that retailers have been monetizing off-site isn't so exclusive anymore. That was just part of the conversation that I had with Nick and Paul on the Commerce Media Matters podcast, a great show in our space where they're talking with industry leaders with different perspectives and expertise in the evolving landscape of commerce media. So if you want more, I do suggest checking out the full episode, but this is just a little snippet that I took from my conversation with Nick and Paul. Let's jump in.
Let's get into the bingo word AI. There's lots of hype, but there's lots of really, really solid, practical, cool stuff happening too. The rise of agentic shopping, I'm not sure when we're going to release this podcast, but about 2 hours ago, I saw that Shopify made their official announcement. Chat commerce, AI agents, predictive purchase journeys, there's lots of challenges. Are they threats? What's your take? I know you're deep in a lot of research at the moment, so I'm dying to get your thoughts on this.
Okay, all right. So look, I've been working on this theory. I'll run it by you guys and see if you can poke some holes in it. So I think that taken to its logical conclusion, AI agentic shopping really poses an existential threat to retail media. And that's because when you think about what is retail media comprised of, it's the surface that consumers are interacting with. It's your app, it's your website. For right now, that's the surface that a brand wants to be on. They want to be buying sponsored products at the point of sale while someone's searching for it. The other part of retail media is offsite. Who owns the transaction data? Who owns the audience data? Right now, it's the retailer. And so as a brand, you can activate against a retailer's audience on Disney or TV or Instagram or whatever. And so that is like another sort of monetization vehicle. Not as profitable as onsite, but still like a core part for many retailers. So with that in mind, what happens when consumer behavior shifts from going to a retailer.com, searching around and clicking and buying and, coming back? What happens when that is done through an agent instead of directly through the retailer.com? So the surface goes away, so those sponsored products kind of become irrelevant. Mm-hmm. The retailer will still have the transaction data, like Kiri bought a new t-shirt, but also the AI LLM has that transaction data. So now there are two entities that have purchase and transaction and consumer signals data, which means that becomes less valuable. That audience data that a retailer has that they were able to easily monetize before isn't as valuable because someone else has it. Interestingly, physical environment still remains. People are still going to go to stores, still want to go try things on, still want to go to, Sephora, still go to the supermarket. So I actually think trade marketing, after all of this, trade marketing is very resilient, actually. And
they just keep coming back, yay?
Good for those guys. Then I was talking about this with Scott Wingo on his podcast, Retail Gentic, and he's Mr. E-commerce. He's all about e-commerce, but he was like, yeah, but just remember, e-commerce is 20% of total retail, and agentic shopping, at least in the early days, is going to be a fraction of that. So like, don't get too excited about like the death of retail media. But I do really think if you're running media at a retailer, you do need to start thinking about this now.
You need to start planning for it. 100%. I agree. I think the hype overtakes everything, but when you, like you just said, when you sift through it and you look at the practicalness of it, you look at the data and you look at how long it will take to actually take that, I think retailers and retail media networks and people running them need to get a handle of that and get a true sense of how much time have I got and what do I need to do in that time.
Shoppers don't think in silos. They bounce between online and in-store without skipping a beat. Acosta Group's connected commerce agency helps brands unify trade and retail media budgets to invest where shoppers are most likely to convert, whether that's on mobile or in the store aisle. Learn more about Acosta Group Connected Commerce at acosta.group and let them know Retail Media Breakfast Club sent you. That's ACOSTA.group.
I think your theory is sound because you're right. It's those surfaces that they're now selling as part of their retail media network offering that essentially disappear. Where it's going with agentic AI, it's an API that's exposed. And I always go back to what's the user experience because that's what everybody's after, like to get in front of the user. So what's great about AI is that conversational piece that you can, okay, I'm 6'2". This is my size for my shirt. Can you give me some recommendations? Right now, AI is not providing the end user experience. You still have to click off and whatever. So there's a great opportunity up there. But yeah, how do the retailers show up and how do they keep their margin on the surfaces that they were once selling is a good point. And the last point I think I'd like to highlight that you made, which is a really interesting one, is that data piece, because if you're a GPT or an agent working with several retailers, like you said, they're going to have the aggregation of several retailers' data instead of it being locked in the retail media network. So that is an I can't say that word, a threat.
That one, yeah.
So I totally agree. But I don't know about you, but I'm really excited to see some of the innovation that's coming through in this space. So it's certainly something that Voodoo's playing in at the moment. Who's doing it well? What's out there that you've seen in your research that's really interesting? I mean, in your article, you talked about Walmart and Sparky, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So Walmart's taking a different approach to Amazon here. Amazon's building its walled garden. They've made a great head start with Rufus and Alexa Plus is kind of getting there. So they're trying to build an agent that you're going to want to use, not just for shopping, but for finding home improvement, contractors and things like that as well. Basically being like a ChatGPT agent competitor itself within Alexa Plus, right? They want to create their own personal agent. Walmart's approach that they've spoken about publicly is they want to open their ecosystem to external agents and allow external agents to interface with their product catalog so that you could order stuff off of walmart.com through a Perplexity or whomever. So I don't think that, it doesn't mean Amazon won't change their mind in the future, but it's a very different philosophical approach to this new future that they both recognize. My advice to retailers is look at AI agents as your VIP diamond level customers, the very best customers.
That's a great way of looking at it. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So that, there's an immediate, like with this new technology is an immediate move to like, oh, this is scary. We don't understand it. Let's just block it. Let's block these agents, not let them crawl our websites. Instead, if you look at it, it's like, this is like the best influencer we've ever had. And if we can expose our product catalog and make it super readable and super easy to place orders and, all of the context that an LLM is going to need to prefer your retailer when they're recommending a product, what better customer could you ask for than that? Well, we have to leave it there for today. Thank you to Nick and Paul from the Commerce Media Matters podcast for having me on, and we'll link up to the full episode in the show notes in case you want to check out the full discussion.